All right, everybody. What do you say we get this party started? Let's give it up. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Daniel Silva, and I'm the President and CEO of the KCK Chamber of Commerce. It is an honor to be here with you today and celebrating what once started as an idea and as a dream as a full fulfilled project. So again, Mike Zeller, congratulations on this beautiful, beautiful bridge project. You know, this is one of those transformational projects, you know, that takes people on all levels for it to be successful. Government, corporate partnerships, philanthropy, community. We all have to buy into this idea. And if this crowd is a reflection of what people think about this project, man, we're in for a great time. We've got many, many events coming up, especially the World Cup. We think this is going to be one of the money shots when they do an aerial of Kansas City. So again, we could not be more excited to be here. I am honored to be here along with some distinguished speakers today. Mr. Tyrone Gardner, Mayor of KCK. Former Mayor of KCK and now the President of the Greater KC Chamber, Joe Reardon. The Honorable Laura Kelly, Governor of Kansas. And last but not least, Mike Zeller, aka the Bridge Guy, mad scientist. Give it up for Mike Zeller. I have the honor of emceeing today, and I'm going to give a couple more folks some shout outs. We have Commissioner Melissa Bynum here. Round of applause. Representative Pam Curtis. Commissioner Brian McKiernan. Commissioner Townsend, Commissioner Burrows. I feel like the clerk at a commission meeting, man. We also have Commissioner Davis is here. Saw him when we walked in. And then Commissioner Ramirez is here as well. I too have some leadership here, and I'll just honor two gentlemen that are here. David Melhoff from BPU, that's our KCK Chamber Board Chair. David, if you're here. And our Chair-elect, Mr. Drew Eanes with J.E. Dunn. At this point, I'd like to turn the podium over to Mr. Mayor Tyrone Gardner. Mayor.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Is this a beautiful day or what?
Yeah.
Are you happy to be on the Rock Island Bridge?
Yeah.
Isn't this beautiful? Mother Nature really shined on us. We don't have that hot overcast. We don't have any rain, so we are truly blessed to be here today. I want to give a special shout out one more time. Let's give it up for Laura Kelly, our governor of the great state of Kansas. She has truly been a friend to Wyandotte County, and we are honored to have her here today to be with us. And I know it's a long trek from Topeka, so it's even more so of an honor to have you right here in Wyandotte County. The great people of Kansas City, Kansas welcome you. I also want to recognize, who wasn't recognized, we have David Johnston. He is our new county administrator. Let's give him a round of applause. As well as LeBert Murray, he's my economic development advisor. He's worked with some of the team members here. And Mike Zeller, you know what? The vision is really coming to fruition. We have got to give him one more round of applause. Yeah. You know, when you think of a bridge, I like to think of it as bridging Kansas, even though when you step over, you're in slightly still in Kansas, but just a few steps over, you're in Missouri. So you're really bridging two states together with a really historic and monumental venue right here that we could call our own in Kansas City, Kansas. And so we're really proud to have this venue. So we're celebrating the start of a true world first-class facility here in Kansas City, Kansas. The former railroad bridge, it's being transformed into a public crossing that opens 365 days of the year, connecting our 11 top trails our two Kansas cities together, which I've mentioned, a trailhead with public restrooms, drinking fountains, and seatings for over 400 people, spaces for public gatherings like the KCK Farmers Market, La Placenta, a Three Wheels for kids, and a full entertainment district and venue with a commercial kitchen, coffee shop, bars, and even a dance floor, if you can believe that. Now that's a lot of jobs and venues for one bridge. And did I mention that it's all happening 40 feet over the Kansas River? Can you believe that? And they're going to raise this bridge. That's even more monumental. You can do your own Google search, but 2 feasibility studies have found that there's nothing like this anywhere in the nation. This is truly a world first right here in the great and beautiful state of Kansas, in Kansas City, Kansas. Before giving this over to our other distinguished guests and speakers, I'd like to just share a few remarkable things with you, so I'm going to read this off. We're standing near the center of what was once the world's second largest stockyard district. This bridge was built by the Rock Island Railroad in 1905 to link up the district on both sides of the river. Now let that sink in. 1905 was before radio. It was before most homes in Kansas City had electricity. There were no phones. This bridge is historical in that nature. And believe it or not, there will never ever be a bridge built like this anywhere in the United States, ever. After the Great Flood of 1951, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers commissioned KCK's L.G. Barkas Company to install these massive lift gates that you see on the other side of the bridge, to the left and right of us. That could raise this bridge in advance of any flood waters that wanted to come up. The family business was under the leadership of Grant Barkas at the time, and today his grandson Doug, who leads the company, is now using the very same gears to elevate this bridge another 4 feet, to which will be its permanent location above the new height of the levee, which the Corps of Engineers is now raising. I want to talk about how this will make life better for the folks living not just in Wyandotte County, but especially in the eastern portion of Wyandotte County, which we all know has been disinvested. Some parts have been disenfranchised, and we need to balance that. And this starts that reinvestment in the disinvested areas of both Kansas City, Kansas, and Wyandotte County. But the obvious investment is this creates a venue that will be fun for families and for individuals that want to find exciting and new energetic things to do right here in Wyandotte County. You might think of this as a steel park over the river, and if that's what you want to view it as. But it is a place that will be for family celebrations and gatherings where you can work remotely or just enjoy a good book on a very beautiful day such as today. This bridge also serves as a keystone in our emergency levee top trail system on both sides of the river. Plenty of studies confirm what we already know to be a truth, is that we need to get outdoors. Walking and biking do wonders for our mental and physical health, and this bridge and this levee provides that opportunity. This is the same river that flows through Manhattan, Wamego, and Lawrence, and today we start the process of rebranding the lower Kansas River from that of a 19th century industrial river to a 21st century recreational river, a riparian parkway that enriches our peoples and their lives with nature, recreation, commerce, and bustling activity, again, right here in the great state of Kansas and the great city of Kansas City, Kansas. And so this bridge is an epitome of what it means when you talk about redeveloping Kansas City, Kansas, and building a resurgent Kansas City, Kansas. With the overall goal being is to create a great and safe place to live, work, and raise a family, and we see that. And this is one of those investments that really starts that process and keeps it going. So now I'd like to introduce to you my predecessor in the mayor's office, Mayor Joe Ritter, and he is now the CEO of the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce, a man who knows how to build bridges, which he's done, and he did very successfully. I'd like to welcome Mayor Joe Ritter and give him a round of applause as he comes.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and I really greatly appreciate your remarks. And Governor, it's always wonderful to see you. Mike, congratulations. I'm a poor stand-in for David Tolan, the Lieutenant Governor and the Secretary of Commerce, who wanted to be here today and was unable to be here. But I couldn't help but sitting here, looking down. You can see Strawberry Hill, and how often have we had a chance to be in the center of the Kansas or Missouri River and just take it in like we are today? It's quite remarkable because it's been for so long that we've ignored the river. as a place to gather or as a place of recreation. And so great applause to Mike for his vision, for the visions that are here, that have come to this reality, to build a public commons in many ways that will attract people from throughout the region to this place. When Mike first brought me down here and started talking about this idea, I had come back from my first visit ever to the High Line in New York. I don't know how many of you have been to the High Line in New York City. It's unbelievable what that reinvention has done. A railroad system in downtown New York City that now is that public commons. And not only are people gathering there to just enjoy the experience, but development has come around it. So channeling the Lieutenant Governor, not only is this an amazing opportunity for a gathering space for everyone in the Kansas City region, but it's an amazing anchor for the development that will be physically upon it and that which seeks to be around it. And that is something to celebrate in an amazing way today. A lot has already been mentioned, but I will say that when you think about iconic places in a city, many times they are the places where people gather and celebrate, and they have that connection to history. And Mayor Garner brought that up incredibly. For so long, the heart of the city's economy sat right here, right on the shores of the Kansas and Missouri River. And I can't imagine how busy this bridge would have been in that period of time. And to think about how long it sat dormant until Mike had a vision to do something different. And now there's probably more people on this bridge than there's been in maybe 100. I don't know how long, Mike. You probably have some kind of stat. But it's got to be incredible. The final thing I want to mention, and this is really important, and those that are involved in this kind of work, and Governor, you've done this, and Mayor, you've done this, Levert's done this, so many of you, it seems like a no-brainer when it comes together. And it's never a no-brainer, and it's hard as heck to get it done. So Mike, your perseverance, your ability to bring state, local, philanthropic, the public, the private together, the business interest to make this thing a going entity is truly remarkable, and you need to be applauded for that. And another round of applause for you. And one more final thing. The stars are aligning for this Kansas City region in an incredible way. I get to work in a building every day in Union Station. I wasn't able to actually work in it while the NFL draft was going on. But it's not too far from here, and think of the legacy of that building. That it was built in the way it was here for future generations. Then we had the perseverance as Kansas Cityans, and maybe the vision, to make sure to save the darn thing from being torn down. And I can tell you that no one that had the vision to save it ever imagined that it would host the NFL draft in quite the way that we saw it, right? So too here. In my mind, this is a legacy kind of project that we can't imagine yet what will come around it and what will gather and the significance of what it will be. That's something to celebrate. This crazy place that we are here in the center of Kansas City, on top of this bridge with wood on it, that's going to transform into something that we'll all get to celebrate for generations to come. Please join me in welcoming Mike Zeller, the bridge guy, the guy that's brought us to this place. Mike?
Thank you, Joe. That's hard to follow. Well, going first is never easy for anything, anywhere. And thankfully, we live in a city and a state that's got a lot of vision and a big heart. None of this could have been done. I've got a lot of people to thank today, and you keep throwing out my name. I have a partner in this endeavor named Michael Ladden, who's right there by my side every step of the way, and I never could have pulled this thing off without Mike Ladden. You guys might have heard of the term a P3, a public-private partnership. Public-private partnership, 3 Ps, and this is a P5. This is a public-private philanthropic, pretty great corporations partnership. And today we're going to celebrate all 5 of those with these golden spikes that we're going to get to drive here one at a time. And it's really been a barn raising, this thing has. Never could have done it without all of those different sectors coming together, what none of them could likely have achieved on their own. I want to thank Multi Studio. They were the first, they're our architects. They used to be called Gould Evans, and Dennis Strait couldn't be here today, but Sam Loring, our architect, is. Those guys carried this project for 3, maybe 4 years before we were ever in a position to write them a check, because they wanted something great for Kansas City. They wanted to have the world's first entertainment district on a bridge over a river here in Kansas City, and they helped make that happen. I really want to thank them for that. I've got a lot of people to thank. Also, Lathrop, Michael Abrams here representing them. He's going to drive a Golden Spike in a few minutes. They did all the work, the legal work for this, Lathrop LLP, pro bono. And it was never driven by a marketing interest. About twice a year, I would sheepishly call Mike up and I said, we're making progress on this thing. And, you know, they had a lot of lawyers involved in this from a lot of different angles. And Mike would say, forget about it. We just want to live in a city that has a bridge like that over a river. And it's remarkable. And that's Kansas City proud companies. I really want to thank you for that. I want to thank Shirley Hellsberg and her husband Barnett for your early vision and your validation of the project. It goes without saying, Shirley is a lady that knows how to dream big and make big things happen. Thanks for coming in early and saying that this was a really good idea. We needed that. Also to thank the Sunderland Foundation, the Dickinson Family Foundation, Blue Scope Steel, just around the corner, all donated funds to this effort through the Greater Kansas City Community Foundation, who I also want to thank for their support and just their validation again. There's a lot of private investors out here today. This P5, that's private, people who put their own savings into the bridge. Some of them, everybody's not rich that's a part of this. I'm looking at several of them right now that are teachers and real estate agents, and they helped make this happen, and I want to thank them for that. I really want to thank a friend of the project and a mentor for me, Dave Brain, who's here at the front row. He and his wife Kathy came in early also, and David came down to the call socials we were having, and you know, he founded a national publicly traded company, Entertainment Properties REIT, and David helped us understand that originally this was supposed to be chicken on a bridge. You don't know that, right? We'll tell you later. It has some humble origins. I was holding a potato gun, but it's evolved. And David helped us understand that what we were really building, in addition to a public trail and a public trailhead and some public spaces, we're building an entertainment district. And he helped us validate that. He brought Kansas City's investment community very civically proud together, and they put a lot of their own money into this. And I want to wrap it up with a thanks to the final P, and that's the public sector. This bridge was owned by Kansas City, Missouri. They transferred it to Kansas City, Kansas for $1. And they've been great partners in it. They're going to bring the Green Line, or the trail around downtown Kansas City, Missouri, here to this bridge. It'll be a trailhead with drinking fountains and seating. Anybody can just come here and hang out and connect over to Kansas City, Kansas. Also, I want to thank the Mid-America Regional Council for an early feasibility study. Port KC, they funded, even though they're in Missouri, they want to see these rivers activated also, and they funded our Kaw Socials that we had down here. The Kaw Valley Drainage District is a great partner, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Those guys, they're in the midst of this $500 million levee raise down here, and they always picked up the phone. They arranged for us to have the parking lot today. The levee top there showed great agility and great public partnership with the federal government there. I thank you. Scott Mensing is here with his troops. Thank you. The final thing I want to shout out to is that this barn raising has a lot of partners, and some of them brought a lot of sweat equity to it. We would have these Kaw Socials. 130 years ago, we put this river into our collective imagination as an industrial river, and it was an industrial river. This was a stockyard, second only to Chicago in the world. And it stayed in that place. And today we're starting the rebranding of that. Well, this is phase 2 in the rebranding. First step was these Kaw Socials that we had. And we had really great participation from a whole bunch of groups. We had Friends of the Kaw would bring kayaks and canoes down so people could boat on this river, which is very gentle compared to the Missouri River. We had Central Avenue Betterments. La Placida was here selling all kinds of tasty things. Historic West Bottoms Association, All-American Catfish. Did you know this is Catfish Central? We're over here. We're going to have massive catfish tournaments out here. And then Calcutta suppers on the bridge. And Armourdale Renewal has been a great partner as well. We are in Armourdale right now. None of this could have happened without the vision and support of the unified government, which voted unanimously about a year and a half ago in favor of this partnership. And I want to thank Mayor Garner's ongoing support. It's been great with his staff. And they put in a lot of hard work and have been on this crazy trail with me. Sarah White, Jeff Fisher, Gunnar Hand, Troy Shaw, and many, many others. There's a massive staff over there that have made this happen. And LG Barkas. The mayor mentioned that these lift gates were installed by Grant Barkas, who was Barkas number 2, I believe. Now Doug is leading the project, and his son Zach, that's the 5th generation, is going to be working a little bit on this project as well. So it's a real family affair. And a final thank goes out again to Mike Ladden, our CFO. I know we're all waiting to hear from Governor Kelly, and it's so great to have her on the bridge. Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of Commerce Dave Tolan, he couldn't be here today. He's been a great friend of the project. He had a scheduling conflict, and that's a real shame because I had told him on his 5th visit that he was going to get a free sub sandwich. So maybe you can take leftovers, huh, I'm telling you. David got this idea from the start. He's a real visionary. He organized funding for the feasibility study. He brought his family out here for those called socials. He hosted meetings with elected officials, and generally what Dave Tolan said was, that's not crazy. And I appreciate that because I used to be the crazy bridge guy. Now I'm just the bridge guy. Yeah. So, and the final thing is, I said it's not easy going first. I want to say a big thanks to my big sister, Cindy Rhodes, for going first on the investment side. It's not easy going first, Cindy. Thank you. So it's my deep honor to introduce our keynote speaker and governor of the great state of Kansas, Laura Kelly.
Well, I know you were hoping David Tolan would come, but I will just have to do it. But it is really good, and I'm glad I finally get to be here because I have been following this project for a long time, and I was very excited when Lieutenant Governor Tolan brought it to me. So, and it's good to be back in KCK. I love KCK, and to be here on this historic and this iconic spot above the Kaw River. You know, I want to thank Mick for the kind introduction. I want to thank Joe and his team at the Greater Kansas City Chamber and Daniel's team at the KCK Chamber for bringing the business community together around this project. I also want to thank Michael and Fine Trust for making this project a reality, and of course, Mayor Tyrone Gardner, for your visionary leadership here in Wyandotte County. You know, we wouldn't be here today without all of you. This project is steeped in history, as you have heard. In its heyday, the Rock Island Bridge was a regional driver of commerce, carrying livestock and freight in and out of the West Bottoms and the stockyards right here in Kansas City. And today, we come together to celebrate its revival. Soon this will be a one-of-a-kind entertainment space and landmark destination for our state and for the entire KC metro area. With unique options for dining, drinking, and KC metro, and music, and as well as a functioning trailhead and even a zip line. The Rock Island, which I will not be doing. Make it clear now. The Rock Island Bridge will be a fantastic new destination for Kansans of all ages. My hope is that it will give our young people, in particular, a fun place to hang out, to bring their families, to continue making our mission to make Kansas a state where there are good paying jobs and fun things to do on nights and weekends. A state where more and more young people want to put down roots and build their futures. But Rock Island Bridge won't just serve Kansans who already live here. It'll also attract many new visitors and new tourism dollars to our states, and potentially new citizens. In fact, this site will now be where many tourists are introduced to Kansas, and I can't think of a more fitting introduction. We are a state of big views, big skies, rivers, and recreation. We are also a state of commerce, transportation, and excellence in business. The Rock Island Bridge brings all of this together to show where we've been and where we're heading in Kansas. And that's why the state of Kansas is proud to support this project through a $4 million base grant, leveraging federal funds through the SPARK Executive Committee. This grant will drive continued development at this site and solidify the strong partnerships it takes to make big things happen here in our state. With state, local, private, and nonprofit partners all pulling in the same direction, we will accomplish something that none of these sectors could have done alone. My administration looks forward to continuing to work together with all of our partners here today to make the most of this new attraction, to continue bringing Kansas to the world and the world to Kansas. Thank you all for the opportunity to share this afternoon with you, and I look forward to driving a Golden State into the exciting future lined up here at the Rock Island Bridge.
Let's hear it one more time for all of our fantastic speakers here today. And Governor, we know you like to do spike, the platinum shovels, the gold shovels, so this is fun for you, we know. Before we get to that though, we do want to recognize a person who traveled the farthest today, and that is Mr. Raymond DiPiano, who joins us from Philadelphia. So it's not just local folks that are paying attention to what's happening here. Raymond owns a historic restoration business with a resume that includes extensive work on Liberty Hall, where the Declaration of Independence was signed. They saw the article in the Wall Street Journal about the Rock Island Bridge, thought the idea had merit, and decided to invest their dollars here. Raymond, thank you for your vision. Now let's get on to the P5, as Mike called it, and let's drive some golden spikes. May I have come forward Mr. Tyrone Gardner, Mayor Gardner, representing local government, David Brain, private investors, Ms. Shirley Hellsberg, philanthropy, Michael Abrams, local corporations, and Governor Kelly, Governor of Kansas. You're going to want to use the hammer. One at a time. You want to give him a count off? 1, 2, 3. All right. Governor Kelly. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's all right. He didn't need a countdown. Mayor Gardner, go for it. Thank you all so much for being here.
And just the last thing we'd like to share with our P5 guests here, a rail slice, we're calling it. When we got this bridge, it had 700 feet long. We had 1,400 foot of 1905 steel rails, so we cut them into these slices and we've burnished them with the Rock Island logo established in 1905. We want each one of you to have one of these, and to also announce that we are kicking off a campaign this summer. Going first ain't easy. Prices on everything just keeps going up. If you'd like to participate in this project at a small, medium, or high level, you're welcome to go to rockislandkc.com, and there's a way to do it. It's kind of like a, buy a brick sort of campaign. You can also pre-reserve the event space up top. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.